One more minute.
You must already... Okay. Good. Oh, the pile of junk behind me. I gotta turn this down. Oh, I have two people on. Hello. Give me one quick second. I gotta type up the... Give me a second. I cannot type. I still can't type. The struggle is real.
I'm getting you in stereo.
Because you're on the phone.
Yeah, and I've got you on TV, so I've got...
Oh no! You're really in trouble.
I think I'm gonna hang up the phone here, Charlie.
Okay, as long as you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you, and I've got chat, so I'm good.
Okay, y'all. So I just want to thank everyone who is either live with me or who are viewing this live afterwards. Thank you. Don't forget to give it a like, because that helps more people reach out to me, and that also helps you out too in some way or another. Remember to hit that like button, because that helps me out. It helps people find the channel and helps me gain new subscribers. And while we're on the topic of new subscribers, the channel is up to 268 subscribers, so that is awesome. Thank you for that. We are up today. We are getting into animal myths and superstitions, and I have done this video before, but I don't think I've ever done it in a live situation. So we're gonna do this. I'm gonna get the light because I don't know. I like the light on. So the first one that we're gonna talk about is actually one from Africa. But funny enough, there are beliefs about it going... Seriously, you left. Oh well. Myths that go all the way back to Europe, medieval Europe. And that is the belief that a lioness and a hyena could breed and produce an offspring that could imitate human speech and would lure humans away to be unalived by the offspring. By the way, just FYI, they can't do that. They can't interbreed like that. In Africa, it's believed that hyenas can, well, actually I'm saying that wrong. It's believed that witches can turn into hyenas. It's also believed that hyenas can be the steeds for a witch. Killing a hyena can be dangerous because the owner of the hyena might come for you. Yes, they probably would eat a hyena. Potentially. So next up we have the wolf. And there are tons and tons of myths about wolves, but let's get into it. So, in ancient Greece, there was a myth that rubbing the teeth of wolves against an infant's teeth would help them as they teethed. It was also believed that using wolf dung could treat colic or cataracts. Yep. So if you had cataracts, they would smear wolf poop on your eyes and that would cure it. I'm assuming that's how they did it anyway. The Greeks believed that eating an animal hunted by wolves would cause you to turn into a vampire. So if you ate a deer that was killed by a wolf, you were destined to become a vampire. In Mongolia, wolves were good luck. The Cherokee didn't kill wolves because they feared the revenge that the spirit of the wolf would take out on them. The Pawnee believed that wolves were the first beings to experience death. Next up is the lion. Or no, sorry, the mountain lion. So some Western tribes believed that the mountain lion, that seeing a mountain lion or hearing a mountain lion was a bad omen. The Inca associated the cougar with wealth and the earth. Next up is gorilla. And there is a belief that gorilla blood could heal sicknesses. Next up is the pink river dolphin. There is a belief that these dolphins can transform themselves into good-looking men who would seduce women and then get them pregnant only to disappear back into the river by the time the sun came up. There is also a story that they would take away lone swimmers away to an underground city. There were also many tribes who believed that the pink river dolphin was just sacred. The alligator. It is thought that the alligator could lend its hunting ability to those who treated it with respect. It's also thought that the spirit of the alligator could be sent to attack people or to spy on them. Tigers. There is a myth that when a tiger died, that its spirit entered the earth and became the gemstone we know as amber. In some places, it's believed that humans could shapeshift into tigers, sort of like were-tigers. There's a belief in Romania that if a bear stepped into a person's property, no evil being could ever step foot in that property again. In the western United States, there is a story. This is a Native American woman who had been out gathering berries, and she stepped in a pile of bear dung or bear poop. She swore out loud about it, and a nearby bear heard her yelling and screaming about this unfortunate incident, and that the bear decided that she needed to be punished for her disrespect. So the bear turned into a man and he seduced her into following him to his house. they traveled deep into the forest and then up into the mountain, and there she would fall in love with him and he would fall in love with her. Eventually, they would marry and she would give birth to two cubs. Their kids looked like bears, but like their dad, they could change their shape into humans. Eventually, the woman's brother found them and killed her husband and returned her and the children to the village. But her kids didn't like living in the village and they returned to the forest to live. Next up is the crocodile. And this myth comes from Madagascar. The story goes that an old man came into a village looking to get a drink. And he went from door to door asking for a drink, and everybody refused him. He knocked on the last door, and a woman opened the door, and he's like, "Please give me a drink of water." And so she did. And to thank her, he goes, "When your child cries tonight, gather your child in your arm and leave the village, or in your arms and leave the village." Well, when her child got up that night and started crying, she did exactly what she was told to do. But when she returned the next day, the village was completely underwater, and within the water were a bunch of crocodiles that were swimming. Those crocodiles were the villagers who denied the old man water. He was actually a sorcerer, and he had punished the other people by turning them into crocodiles. Fire salamander. It is believed that they are immune to fire and that they were even born from fire. Not really true. What people were experiencing, the wood would catch on fire, and the salamander, to escape the fire, would crawl out of a log, making people think that, they were giving birth within the fire. So crows may not be the crows that we know of in our area, but in Europe, and this is probably medieval Europe, within the Dark Ages, quiet crows were thought to be preparing to journey down to the devil to pay tribute. In France, it was thought that priests that were evil could become crows, or would become crows. There is also a belief that if a single crow flies over your house, someone within the house was going to die. Next up are killer whales. Some tribes in North America believe that the orca was the lord of the ocean, and that the seals were their slaves. Some tribes on the western coast of North America believe that people who hunted on the ocean would be transformed into killer whales upon their death. Toads. The Aztecs believed that the toads served Mother Earth, and that they governed the cycle of death and rebirth. In Europe, toads were thought to serve witches. And lastly but not least, I have a story from ancient Greece about the god Dionysus, who, if you don't know, is the god of wine. So he was out on a beach. I don't know what he was doing, but of course he was dressed really nicely, and some pirates saw him and thought he was a prince. So they captured him and he allowed it. And they dragged him aboard the ship and tied him to the mast, thinking, hey, we're going to do a ransom and we're going to make money off of you. But the helmsman decided, you know what? He is not a prince, he's a god, and you need to set him free. With a breath from Dionysus, the sails filled and perfumed wine streamed across the deck. They finally understood that Dionysus was actually a god, but before they could get him back to land and set him free, he changed into a lion and charged the crew. They jumped overboard and some of them were drowning. So to save them, he transformed them into dolphins. And to this day, dolphins are the descendants of those pirates. I did not get very far with this. I apologize for not having more. I should have done more research and filled up my hour, but that just did not happen. So, let's see what other things I can dig up. Let's do leopards. I bet you there's some nice juicy ones about leopards. And if you have an animal that you want me to look up, leave it in the comments and I will look it up as soon as I'm done with leopards. So, there would be jaguars. It is believed that priests of Dionysus that wore leopard skins could transform themselves into leopards. The Egyptian priest that wore the skin of the leopards could again transform into those animals. The followers of Set, which is the bad god, they would sacrifice the black leopard as they believed they embodied the spirit of Set. And that is about all I could find. So let's do jaguars. I thought I had already done jaguars, or I thought I was going to. Maybe for some reason I didn't. Either that or I couldn't find enough. So there is a story about the jaguar. It doesn't say which tribe. But these animals were thought to just be ordinary animals, but the gods chose it as their messenger, bestowing upon it a roar as well as the ability to transform into a human form. So, that's a little bit about the jaguar. I guess the jaguar could become. Yes. Would then become like a were animal. And I think. I don't know. Of course, ravens are known in Great Britain. Having something to do with the destruction of the monarchy. Hearing the call of a raven is considered to be an ill omen. The fact that they could talk was a depiction of them as being a part of prophecy. If you saw 3 of these birds together, it meant that this goddess was going to come and pay someone a visit. Native Americans saw raven as a trickster. They're associated with the creation of the world and for giving the gift of sunlight um, to mankind. And some tribes even thought it was a stealer of souls. Um, Supposedly, and I don't know where this is in the Bible because I've never read about it, but that a raven showed Adam and Eve how to bury the dead. I've never read that. Well, yeah, but different stories, different tribes. So, yeah, jackals. Let's see. Well, hmm, let's see. They were associated with the goddess Neith. That is Neith. She is a goddess from ancient Egypt, and apparently she spun the I lost where I was at. She was a spinner and weaver of destiny. I'm guessing like the fates. There is also there was a very talented weaver, and she challenged the goddess Athena to a weaving contest. Athena could find no flaws in the tapestry that this mortal had done. And when she was angry, she became angry at the woman and became so mad that she turned the woman into a spider. Same myth, we've already read that, already talked about that. In Africa, the spider is a trickster god or goddess. And there are many stories about her. In the Lakota people, again, the spider is a trickster. In other myths, it has become associated with the constellation Ursa Major. The constellation was seen as 7 men transformed into stars, climbing to paradise by unrolling a spider's web. In the Hopi legends of creation, there is a myth about the spider grandmother, and it is thought that she, through her weaving of her web, created the world. There is a Saint Conrad of Constance, is sometimes represented as a bishop holding a chalice with a spider. According to the story, while he was celebrating Easter Mass, a spider fell into the chalice. Ignoring the commonly held belief of the time that all spiders were poisonous, as a token of faith, Conrad drank the wine with the spider in it. Okay, I don't know why that's a deal, but anyway. Um, there is the story about a sorcerer who escaped to the moon to get away from the devil. And in doing so, he brought with him a spider. And the spider would descend to Earth on a thread and bring back news and gossip from the world below. And that is in Polish folklore. Yep. Yeah, me neither. I'll be honest. Let's do owls. So, according to this, owls are the messengers of witches. Not really, but um in England, they believed that you could gain better eyesight by ingesting parts of them. In England, they did this by cooking owl eggs until they were ash and then putting that into a water. In India, they did this by eating owl eyes. In if you dreamed in the Apache culture or tribe, if you dreamed of an owl, it meant that you were somebody was going to die. In the Cree, if you heard the calls of an owl and you whistled but did not get a response, that was meant that you were going to die immediately. To the Dakota people, they believed that burrowing owls were the protective spirits for warriors. Um, Among some of the Australian Aborigines, owls were thought to be the spirits of women and therefore were considered sacred. Um, in the Middle Ages, it was believed that witches um, would use owls as familiars, and therefore they would hoot to warn of the approach of a witch. Or, yeah, but because people believed that owls were connected to witches, people killed um, owls. They also believed that if you walked around a tree that had an owl in it, that the owl would eventually die from wringing its own neck. Not true. I'm gonna do, yeah, they ah cats came under persecution too for that reason. Oh, what? Myth and legends about blue jays. Um, it is believed that blue jays were also a trickster and that they worked with foxes and coyotes. There's also a thought that they were gossips. It is believed that seeing a blue jay was good luck. Um, some people believe that blue jays were a messenger between heaven and earth. Some tribes saw them as an omen of um, good luck. Blue jays also represented a change that was coming. This is according to Native American um, belief. They also believed that they could give guidance to the dead as they were getting ready to move on. So yeah, that's a little bit. Yeah, I've heard that. Beliefs about cheetahs, myths and superstitions. Myths and superstitions about cheetahs. Myth about cheetahs. It keeps saying myths about cheetah. I'm gonna hit it. I'm gonna throw it. Gonna throw my phone to the wind. Anyway, um, I do have stuff coming up next week, and I don't remember what it is, but I will post it um to my channel thing on YouTube. I will do that out of the kindness of my heart. So yeah, I encourage you this Halloween to dig in a little bit deeper on some of these myths, because there are some myths about animals that are pretty creepy. Do 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 do. Because we really didn't have a way to explain science. And so yeah, we would use myth to explain science. And if we thought that something was bad, it would sometimes not go well for that animal. Actually, no, I want this. Okay, so next up, on the 10th of October, we are doing Are You Afraid? And then on the 13th of September, or on the 13th of this month, I am going to be talking to you about cryptids. So, the 10th, we are doing fears and talking about why something should not be feared. And then on the 13th, we are doing cryptids. Yes, so, and if you are interested in trying to figure out what videos are coming up when, I want to talk to you about the channel and what you can get out of it. So, that's if you're on your phones. I don't know how well you can see that, but it gives you several things that you can look at. One of them is basically the home. You'll get a bunch of stuff. You'll get access to the playlist. And there are a lot of playlists for you to go through. It has popular videos, channels that I subscribe to, if you want to check those out. The last 4 videos that I updated, you can look at videos, popular, latest, and oldest. Shorts will be posted. Lives. Now, it's going to list up at the top scheduled lives. So you're going to go into my channel. It's going to show you the current lives, ones that I've already done, and ones that I'm going to do. Playlist, basically exactly what it says. If you want to say you want to look up all of the videos that I've done on, I don't know, poisonous plants and venomous animals. You go through, you find it, you click on it, and it's going to give you all of the videos that I've done under that playlist. And there are 21 videos under that playlist. More importantly, there are the community page on the channel. This is very, very important, because on the community page is where I give updates. So if I need to change something, it's going to be there. If I need to make an announcement, it's going to be there. I'm not really good on updating that. But that's where I'm going to do that. Also there are channels that I subscribe to. So there's some really cool channels there. And also there, you can find my link. Well, I don't really want you to do that, but yeah. So there might be polls there. I might post also there's a Facebook page that if I know that I'm going to be doing something that I can find like recipes for. So like we just did black raspberry. I can go in, find a recipe for black raspberry and post it. Or spiderweb. There isn't a spiderweb. There's no spiderweb behind me. I don't know what you're seeing, but there's no spiderweb. No. I don't know what you're seeing, but there's not a spiderweb. If there's movement behind that door or above it, unless I'm blind. Yeah, Carol, I don't see a spiderweb. There's a crack in the wall, but there's no spiderweb. Nope. If there's something there, have fun with that. There's nothing there. We have, well, I'm not going to go there. Well, anything is possible, Carol. So, yeah, I really do encourage you to check out the YouTube page because I do post all the videos there. I also post, maybe not all. Well, I think I've started posting all the videos on there. Plus, there are sometimes I will do activities that you can use with your kids or your grandkids. I don't do it all the time, but I do it quite a bit. So that's something to be looking for. But yeah, if you do happen to see something in the lives in back of me, let me know. Because I want to know if there's something back there. Maybe. Or maybe it'll cause me to stop doing lives. I don't know. But yeah. So, unless you have questions, comments, ideas for next lives, no, you don't. No, you don't, because I can see everything that you're seeing. It might be a little bit pixelated back there. And that could be, like, you could be seeing pixelated stuff. Questions, comments on channel stuff. I need to do 2 more lives or get ideas for lives. Maybe. Topics to discuss. Otherwise, well, the thing on the, yeah, there's a lot of like pixelization. I think it's the camera on the Chromebook. Yeah. Because it does pretty good with up close stuff for the most part. But further back you go, it becomes pixelated. But if you do, I don't know. I don't want to know, but yeah. I'm holding to it being pixelated. It's actually white. So, if you're watching this after this video, after this live goes public, make sure you give it a like. You can leave comments, and I do my best to answer them when I can see them. Yeah. And make your comments nice, guys. Don't complain. I mean, it's okay to complain. I do take I take that stuff okay. But if you're gonna be mean, I'm gonna like your comment anyway because yeah, because your comment actually helps me out. It helps me out because it's a comment. And if you do use bad language, you're probably gonna be reported. Because I do have kids that probably are coming into stuff. So, and people that don't want to see that. Be mature. All I'm gonna say. So if that's, it has been almost an hour. I'm going to say goodbye for now. And I will talk to everybody later. Thank you for coming in, and goodbye.